Okay, let's jump in here and I will show you this PowerPoint and we will kind of take a look at everything that chapter 2 has to say about strategic planning. So I kind of went over some of these high points, but this is kind of the run through of what we will talk about today. There will be a few things I'll ask you to go ahead and jump in your textbook and take a look at as well. But strategic planning is how we figure out if what we're doing is working. So we look at what is the organization's main activity at a certain time and how you're going to reach your goals. And that sounds very, very simple. And it really is. A lot of people hear strategic planning and I think they make it feel like it's this huge thing and it's really hard to do. Really, it's just kind of putting your plan on paper and then executing it. The one caveat to strategic planning that I'll give you all is that it's really, really hard. And not a best practice to create a strategic plan that's beautiful and wonderful and has all these great goals laid out. And then, oh, by the way, we didn't use it. We never looked at it again after we made it. It was a really great exercise, but then we just kind of went back to what we were doing and, kind of flying by the seat of our pants. So, one of the terms that you'll need to know is a strategic business unit. I like to equate this to like little mini businesses within a business. So Nike, for example, they have tennis shoes, clothes, sporting goods, all different types of things, watches, technology, all of those things function as their own business. So the way that you distribute and price and create and market and advertise a pair of tennis shoes is different than a tennis racket. So I just kind of like to draw that distinction. You'll hear this a lot. It's a subgroup of a single business or a collection of related businesses within a larger organization. So for me, I'm Amy Mahaffey Photography, but I have a photography arm and then I have a social media management arm. And so those are each strategic business units. They're priced differently. I go about obtaining clients differently. The work in itself is different. Taking pictures is obviously different than running somebody's social media page. So all of these things and all of these customers come from different places in different ways. So large companies, huge corporations, these big brands that we've talked about, they manage a number of these businesses very differently. That's why they're strategic business units. So each strategic business unit has a distinct mission and a specific target market. They have its own competitors. So somebody that is my competitor for photography is not necessarily my competitor for social media management and vice versa. So an ad agency here in Nacogdoches would be a competitor for social media management, but they're not necessarily doing photography every day. They are, but they're not. Their main goal and their distinct mission, as it says here, is different. And so each thing should theoretically, in a perfect world, have its own plan independent of each business. So each business and each unit should have its own strategic plan. It has its own goals, it has its own operations, it has everything is different. And so we tend to think of these things like, oh, Nike, it's a really big business. That's how they market everything. They do it all the same. Actually, they break it down to each business and a little mini business within Nike because they have to go about all of these things differently. So you will hear about these 4 different things: market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification. This is called Asnov's opportunity matrix. And so this is how companies look at how they're going to expand their products or their services. So if I am looking at this market penetration model, we would say, I want to increase my market share among existing customers. So I want to find my customers that I have now and customers that are maybe already interested in photography, and I want them to be my clients. Market development would be attracting new customers. So that means I want to go out and get new clients, not people who are already using these services elsewhere, as with market penetration, but I'm going to go out and find people that didn't even know they needed my services and sell myself to them. Product development is creating new products for present markets. So that would be like me saying, okay, I do photography and I do newborns and families and weddings, but now I'm going to offer mini sessions. This is a new product, if you will. I'm going to do a little setup where I have 4th of July stuff out, and we're going to have an American flag and, fireworks and all these cute things. And like your kids can come for like a lower price point and get 5 pictures done in this setup. And it's a really quick, easy mini session that takes 15 minutes instead of like an hour or 45 minutes. And so that's essentially a new product. That's how I get new customers, because I'm offering something different. And then diversification is introducing new products like a mini session to a new market. So that would mean I'm not just advertising my new product, a mini session, to the people who are already my customers. I'm also trying to find new people, new clients to come in and take advantage of that as well. So your book will break this down in a really formal manner, but for me, I think it's easier to hear examples. So that's kind of why I'm talking about myself a lot, is because I want you to hear like the real world and the way that people do this in a real setting. So you will hear, this is one of those things I want you to go dig in. This is from the Boston Consulting Group. They have a really funny, I think it's kind of funny, but it helps me remember how they classify each of their products, each of their strategic business units. So for the example, the other day, I met with a client and they are doing, they're developing a new set of products. They're like a spa. And so one of their services at the spa is really carrying the other services. And so I can't really tell their whole business plan, but for example, spray tanning. They want to do spray tanning. And so people will pay more. There's a more frequent return of a customer because that's something that is done, once a week. And so the spray tanning kind of carries them. And they also offer Botox and weight loss shots and all these other things, but that's not really what's making their money. And so I said, okay, so your spray tanning is your cash cow. That's what you see as we have to promote this the most, because this is what's selling our entire business. This is what's keeping the lights on at the business. This is our cash cow. For me, it's social media management. So I love photography, but that is like right now it's July and it's hot outside, guys. And people don't want to get their picture taken when it's hot outside. So for me right now, this time of year, my cash cow, the thing that's making all the revenue, is the social media management. There's all kinds of things like this that people do. So you may have a pair of tennis shoes at Nike. That's their cash cow. And that's just like it sounds. What is the thing that's making all the money? But then they have something like maybe new that they're introducing to the market that they're not real sure is how it's going to do. That's their question mark. And then finally, there may be some product that is not doing great. Maybe they've introduced it and thought it was going to be amazing. And there, if like, let's say, this is probably a silly example, but let's say Nike has these really amazing tennis shoes that people buy all over the world. That's their star. That's the thing that is widely distributed, right? And then they have their cash cow. So there's maybe a specialty pair of shoes or something really unique, like their clothing, that really makes them all the money to be able to keep all these other products available in the market. Then they have something new that they're developing and trying that they don't really know about yet. So that would be their question mark. And then let's say they have Nike face masks, right? So we're kind of getting away from wearing masks. And you see them now in the stores. People are putting them on sale and stuff because a few people are wearing them here and there, but I'm not seeing it as much as I was. So that would be their dog, right? Like that's a dog. That's not making us any money. We're trying to get out of the mask business. We don't need to make masks forever. And so that's kind of the context, and it looks different for every single business, but this just helps you in your mind see how all these strategic business units have to be marketed and looked at separately, but also as one, if that makes sense, because you kind of need all of these things. And if you're in an industry where you have different types of products or different types of services, like I do, you kind of have to have everything and you have to see how they all play together. But you also have to know to market them and to promote them and to price them differently. So I'll let you read over that in your textbook, but what I really want to do now, I'm going to take a little break and I will come back and help you walk through what a marketing plan looks like.